I hosted an agriculture energy summit, because here in the Western Cape, we have about 17,000 farmers, and 95% of all the farmers are dependent on energy supply from Eskom, and we know what the current challenges are with Eskom. So the purpose of this is to determine how we can use and generate alternative clean and green energy for the agricultural sector, because we do know that agriculture needs a sustainable, clean and green energy, because we know that Eskom will in future not be a reliable source of income, and we currently are examining all the different possible options that are available to farmers here in the Western Cape.
And currently, I mean, I would suppose, you know, like most of us in our households, some of us in our households have had to find, you know, alternatives in some way or form. What are the current sort of perhaps innovative ways in which, you know, the agricultural sector is trying to sort of mitigate this energy crisis?
Well, some of the solutions that came out of this summit from the agricultural sector, but also from producers and researchers and scientists, because I have also commissioned a study to look into the impact of load shedding by BFAP. Academics and researchers and farmers work together to come up with possible solutions. And the solutions that they have defined here today include the following. Firstly, solar energy, also the issue of wind energy, hydrogen, but also the issue of hydropower was raised here today, looking perhaps into the possibility of Eskom and the National Department of Water and Sanitation in looking into further generation of hydropower. One of the other issues that were raised was also the issue of biomass, as well as gas-to-power solutions for the agricultural sector. And all these options are on the table, but we also know that it is very expensive to just continue with diesel generation capacity. Some of the farmers are already spending 100,000 Rand on diesel, and we know we have to move away from fossil fuel into more greener energy. So I'm very excited about all these alternatives that are being offered. Also, there is also a National Agriculture Energy Fund for farmers that put up solar energy, can also get some assistance through the Land Bank.
Yeah. You know, I do understand, though, that this isn't, well, according to you as the Western Cape government, this isn't only, you know, Mr. Meyer, focused on the agriculture sector only. You do understand that the Western Cape itself, you know, as a province, plans to wean itself off Eskom's grid. What is the plan there? And does the plan, if there is one already on the table, realistically include the poor in the province?
Absolutely. The plan for the province beyond just simply agriculture include a 7.1 billion Rand over the next 3 years. These are funding we set aside for alternative green and solar energy, including wind energy, from the Western Cape government, the city of Cape Town, and the various municipalities here in the Western Cape. So that's the first put money aside for alternative green energy. The second issue, in the city of Cape Town alone, the mayor of the city of Cape Town has launched a 1.2 billion Rand solar plant. We've also seen a number of wind farms coming up. I have visited one farmer that also using biogas here in the region of Darling. But in addition to that, your question is specifically, what are we doing for the poor people that are also reliant on electricity? Well, one of the plans of the Western Cape government is also to make available 200,000 units in the form of a toolkit, of a toolbox, where people will be able to generate at least some electricity for their power, for their cell phones, for some light, and potentially even some cooking facilities. These are all the options that we are currently putting on the table, so that at least those poor people who are on the indigent list of municipality will be able to access a toolbox in the case of potentially a possible blackout. While I'm the Minister of Agriculture, I will also allocate about 20,000 of these units for our agri workers here in the Western Cape. But in addition to that, as announced by the Premier of the Western Cape, we will also make available, we have 5 districts, one town in each district. We will also put together a containerized modular framework for generating capacity of electricity to put some towns partly off the grid and feed into electricity into the municipal grids.
Yeah.
One town in 5 districts. That's our ambitious plan here in the Western Cape.
Yeah, MEC, there was something else that you were in the news for this week. Well, yourself and of course the Agriculture Department in the province. You have rejected race-based quotas for water licenses. What is your understanding of this quotas? What race-based quotas for water licensing, and what do you believe is being done here?
Well, firstly, we believe in a needs-based approach and move away from a race-based approach. There are 3 types of policies that are following a needs-based approach, and it has huge success in South Africa. For example, old age pension, it's not paid out on the basis of race, it is paid out on the basis of need. Student aid fund for students, it's not based on your race, it's based on your needs. When I give drought support to farmers, I don't ask what is your race, I ask what is the need, what is the felt assessment telling us. So that same principle, we believe, we must apply to the allocation of water rights. We must not move away. We must move away from race and look at the need. And in those cases, you will see that the majority of the people in South Africa will benefit in any case, like they benefit from the student aid fund, like they benefit from the felt assessment, like they are benefiting from the old age grant. Our constitution in South Africa calls for non-racism. And I think the day must come in South Africa where we move away from race and rather work on the basis of the need. And we do know many people, particularly also black farmers, they need water rights and allocation rights. We have to move away from a race-based approach to a needs-based approach.
Well, technically it is race-based, because the fact of the matter is that if you have been previously disadvantaged, in this case we are talking about race relations in this particular point, you would then need further and more assistance to level out the playing field.
Well, we believe very much in redress because of the historical injustices of the past. But we have to find a solution in South Africa to marry a needs-based approach and an approach that say, let us also redress the historical injustices of the past. And these are very important policy considerations. South Africa has been locked in a race-based paradigm of the past, and I'm afraid the national government is continuing on the race-based, and I will be fighting against this race-based water quotas in court.